All right, man, let's jump into it. Today, we're going to be talking about how to build more self-discipline. And it's super fucking easy. I'm going to make this really short. You ready? Stop being so fucking soft and just do the damn work. That's it. That's the entire episode. You can close now. All right, but on a serious note, let's get into it, man. I know self-discipline isn't that fucking easy. I know that's what they say. Just get into it and just do the work. Right? Just do the work. It makes sense in theory, but realistically, we're humans and we have emotions that tend to control us sometimes, and we have other things that come up where we just can't get ourselves to do the fucking work. So in this episode, I want to cover how we can actually build more self-discipline and how we can stick to the certain routines that we have maybe created, or certain things that we've been wanting to do, certain habits that we've been wanting to ingrain in our lives. So let's get into it. I got my mud water today with embark cup. If you don't have one of these, man, if you've never heard of one of these, you're fucking missing out, bro. It literally keeps the coffee or whatever you have in here warm, so you're not drinking cold coffee or cold mud water or cold tea. I don't like any cold beverages that are supposed to be hot, like teas or coffees or whatever, unless I'm getting a iced tea or iced coffee or whatever, but that's a whole different story. This here is a life changer. And if you've never had mud water, you're missing out, bro. Gotta get you some. All right, man, let's get into it. I got my notes right here. We're going to be talking about exactly how we can build more self-discipline. In the previous episodes, we kind of talked about why we need to have discipline and why we need to overcome resistance and all these things, but I didn't give you concrete things that you can actually take away from the episode and really implement in your life to build more self-discipline. So first, we need to define what discipline actually is. I have a poster right up there, and it says discipline is a noun. It's the ability to control your feelings and overcome your weaknesses. It literally is that simple. That's what discipline is. But how do we actually get to the point where we can control our feelings and overcome our weaknesses? How do we get to that point? Because typically feelings tend to control us, and our weaknesses are our weaknesses for a reason. So we need to learn how to control the feelings and overcome the weaknesses. And in this episode, we're going to be talking about that. So now that we know what discipline is, why do we even want to be disciplined? What's the point of actually being disciplined and controlling your feelings and overcoming your weaknesses? What's the point of actually doing things that we need to do, regardless of whether we feel like doing them or not? Well, first and foremost, they're going to get you closer to your goals. If you do things that you don't necessarily want to do, but you know you need to do them in order to achieve your goals, it's going to be a lot easier for you to actually achieve those goals. Which in turn, if you achieve those goals, you're going to be a lot more happier because you did something that you wanted to do. And this will also give you more confidence. You'll have more self-confidence that you're able to achieve things that may be hard or things that you don't even want to fucking achieve. And finally, you'll be more resilient. You'll overall be able to handle stress a lot better. You'll be able to handle things that life may throw at you that are going to be hard, that they're going to come. Those things are going to come inevitably. It's going to happen. You cannot ignore those. You cannot bypass those. You cannot do anything to make them not come. Life is going to throw hard things at you, and it's your job to figure out how you can actually overcome those. And if you become disciplined, that will make it easier for you to overcome those things. So you'll be able to deal with the stresses of life a lot easier. And on the flip side of that, if you are not self-disciplined, you're just going to procrastinate because you'll ignore the hard things. You're most likely going to choose the unhealthy habits over the healthy habits because the unhealthy habits are easier. So you're just overall going to be less healthy than if you are disciplined. And this leads to lower levels of happiness. This leads to vibrating at a lower frequency. This leads to not showing up powerfully in your day-to-day life, not showing up as your best self when it comes to relationships or just your health in general and your life in general. So the very first step to building self-discipline is having a strong why, knowing why you're actually doing this thing. Why are you actually trying to build self-discipline? Is it because you have a specific goal that you want to meet? Is it because you want to be happier overall? Is it because you want to become more resilient so when life does throw those hard things at you, you're able to deal with them head on? What is your why? Why are you doing this? Is this thing strictly for yourself? Is this for your family? Is it so you can show up more powerfully for your family? Is this for your other relationships, your friends, or maybe your significant other? Is this so you can be your best version around themselves and you can uplift them? Is this so you can raise your frequency, raise your vibration, so you can vibrate at a higher frequency all day long? What's the reason behind building this self-discipline? Now, I can't tell you what your why is. I have my why, and my why is so I can always show up as the most powerful version of myself. That's why I build self-discipline. And once I'm able to show up as the most powerful version of myself, that means I can achieve anything I fucking want. That means I can achieve all the goals I want. That means I can have a positive impact on the world and also my immediate family and my close friends and anybody else that I come in contact with. So a big, strong why for me is that I can show up as a powerful version of myself, as the most powerful version of myself. So what is your why? That's the first step to actually building self-discipline, is knowing why you're building self-discipline. Anything you do in life, you want to know why you're doing it. You want to have a strong why. I always question everything. Everything that I do, I question why I'm doing it. I don't do things just because it's the right thing to do or I've been told to do this. I question why I'm doing it. If it's the right thing to do, there has to be a why behind it. There has to be a strong why behind it. If I'm told that I need to do something, I'm going to question that person and ask them why they want me to do this. It's not enough for you to tell me, hey, go do this. I'm not going to fucking do it because I don't know why you want me to do it. So if you ever want me to do anything for you, tell me why you want me to do it. And if the why is strong enough, I have no problems doing it. But I won't waste my time doing things that don't have a strong why behind them. So everything you do, make sure you have a strong why. And that starts with the discipline that we're talking about today and how to build more self-discipline. Have a strong why on why you want to build the self-discipline. Once you have your strong why, you have to be really, 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 really honest with yourself. You have to figure out what your strengths are, but more importantly, you have to figure out what your weaknesses are. When you figure out your weaknesses, you can set yourself up for success while taking those weaknesses into account. If one of your weaknesses is waking up in the morning and hitting the snooze button, well, now you know you have to set up your environment for success so that way it's hard for you to snooze. That means putting your phone in a different room where you have to physically get up. That means getting some kind of app on your phone that you can't just hit snooze. You have to solve some kind of mathematical problem or something that'll get you to use using your brain, which will help wake you up as well. That means putting a glass of water right next to your phone, so when you do turn off your alarm, you can just drink the water right away. So knowing your weaknesses will allow you to set yourself up for success in the future. It will allow you to actually set your environment up to where it helps you versus your environment actually hindering you from achieving your goals. So it's very important that you know what your weaknesses are. And this requires a lot of honesty. It requires you to really be honest with yourself. I know we don't want to admit what our weaknesses are. I know we don't want to admit that we have any weaknesses. But the definition of discipline is to overcome your weaknesses. So if you don't know what your weaknesses are, how are you going to overcome them, right? And the best way to overcome your weaknesses is to set your environment up for success. If your weakness is sweets, if your weakness is candy, the best way to set yourself up for success is get rid of all the fucking sweets from your house. Don't have any sweets in your house. The temptation is not going to be there. It's going to be a lot harder for you to actually get those sweets when you do have that temptation to get some sweets. So instead of just going to your pantry and opening up the door and getting the candy, Now you're going to have to get in your car, you're going to have to drive somewhere to the store or restaurant or wherever, and by that time you may not even want that. But even if you do, it's less likely that you'll do all of that just for some candy versus going into your pantry and getting the candy. So very important to know your weaknesses and set your environment up for success. So once we have this strong why and we know our weaknesses and we have set up our environment for success, the next thing you must implement in your life is to do things that suck every single day. This could be cold showers. This could be working out. This could be running if you think that's hard. This could be waking up at a time that may be uncomfortable for you. Find something that sucks and do it every single day. Now, you don't have to do 50 things that suck every day, but find at least one thing that you can do every single day that sucks. For me, I've been doing this for a while, so I have multiple things that I think suck. And I've actually learned to enjoy them now because I know the benefits of doing them and I know how great I feel after I do them. So I do a cold shower every single day. I work out every single day. Well, just about every single day. Sundays are my rest days, but I usually incorporate some kind of cardio within those days. I wake up at a time that is not very comfortable for me. I tend to go without eating any junk food for a really long time. Typically, I'll have one meal a week where it's not very healthy, but for the rest of the time, I find myself eating fairly clean. That's not very comfortable because usually I have these cravings for this junk food and for sugar and for all these things that us humans naturally crave just because we've grown up around them. So I tend to implement all of these things into my life on a daily basis because I know they're going to bring me closer to my goals, and I'm able to practice self-discipline through these things. And not only for the sake of practicing self-discipline, it's for the sake of becoming the best version of myself. And one thing I like to keep in mind, this is kind of my daily motto, is do the right thing and not the easy thing. Usually the easy thing is not the right thing that we should be doing. Not always. Sometimes the easy thing is what we should be doing. But most of the time, when it comes to having a choice, when it comes to us being in a fork in a road, right? We have to choose this road or this road. Typically, one of them is the right road and the other one is the easy road. So what I like to do is I always think about which one of these options is the right thing. Most people just think about which is easier, which way is easier. And I understand. I've been there. I know what it feels like to just do the easy thing. I've always, for 90% of my life up until this point, I've been choosing the easy thing. I always chose the thing that was easier to do versus what was the right thing. I didn't care what the right thing was. I cared what the easy thing was. So now my motto is do the right thing, not the easy thing. I always think about the two choices that I have, and I think about which one is the right choice. I don't even give thought to the easy thing. I give thought to what's the right thing. And I just go do that. Regardless of how hard it may be, regardless of how hard that choice may be, I'm going to do it because it's the right thing to do. And that could be your strong why. It could be your why is because you want to do the right thing. You always want to do the right thing. And maybe you don't even have to think about it that way. You don't have to think about which is right and which is easy. You don't have to think about doing the right thing versus the easy thing. Maybe for you, what will work is figuring out which of these options will get me closer to my goals. Which of these options contribute to my strong why and which detract from my strong why. So having that strong why is very important, so that way you know which path to take. When your why is very clear and is very evident, typically the choices that are presented in front of you are going to bring you closer to that why, or they're going to bring you further away from that why. So it's up to you to figure out what the right thing is and what you should be doing to get you closer to your goal and ultimately closer to that why. And another thing that you want to implement in your life is daily journaling. I really think that this has changed the trajectory of my life because now not only am I able to go back and see the progress, But every single day, I'm able to reflect on how my day went. I'm able to see what I did right. I'm able to see what I did wrong. I'm able to see what I can improve on. I'm able to see what tomorrow is going to look like. And then on a weekly basis, I'm able to see how my week went, where I slipped up, where I can improve, and what I did great. So not only does it allow you to see where you can be better, it allows you to be more grateful for the accomplishments that you have achieved during that day or that week or that month, however often you journal. I recommend journaling every day. At the end of the day, journaling on what you did right, what you did wrong, what you're going to do tomorrow, how you can improve, etc. So journaling is extremely important. That self-reflection is extremely important. If you're not reflecting on your life, then you're just floating. You're just letting life pass you by and you're just going with the flow. But if you're reflecting, you're being strategic about it on, hey, what did I do that wasn't so fucking great that I can improve on tomorrow? And it's all about becoming 1% better every single day. And if you don't know how you can become better, then you're not going to become better. So 1% better every single day. That comes from doing the self-reflections, the journaling, knowing what you can improve on. And it's a very humbling experience because you'll see that sometimes your days are fucking phenomenal and you just kill it all day. And then some days you're just not in the flow state. You're just not doing the right things. But the journaling allows you to see that. And then tomorrow or the next time one of these things pops up, you're able to say, hey, I remember last time I did this. So this time I'm going to do the other thing. If the first thing didn't go right. So yeah, journaling, self-reflection, very fucking important in building self-discipline. And the last thing I want to mention here is reading, not necessarily for the sake of building self-discipline. It will help a little bit, but the reason reading is important is because it allows you to gain some kind of knowledge. Regardless of what you're reading, you can gain something from it. Even if it's a fiction or nonfiction book, it doesn't matter. You'll gain something from it if you're conscious of it, if you're aware of whatever's in the book. I like to read personal development books, self-help books, psychology books, neuroscience, quantum physics, business sometimes, spirituality books. So things along those lines are something that really interests me, and I like to read a lot. Just because it allows me to continue staying sharp, it allows me to continually build on my knowledge base, and I'm able to take what I learned and implement it in my day-to-day life. So read for the sake of learning something, not for the sake of building self-discipline. Like I said, sure, it will help with building self-discipline, but just for the sake of gaining more knowledge, I highly urge you to read. So that's kind of pretty much how you can build self-discipline, is having a strong why, is knowing your weaknesses, and then implementing things that suck every single day, and self-reflection, journaling, and figuring out what you did wrong, what you could do better. With that being said, if you can implement these things, you'll be fucking great off. I just want you to know that the key to any habit is starting small and making it easy. So if you've never worked out a day in your life, you don't want to set a goal of working out every single day or working out an hour for 3 days a week, whatever. What you want to do is you want to start very small. You want to make it very easy. Start with do 5 squats. Do 5 bodyweight squats every single day. Like, that's easy. Anybody can do that. Now, if you don't think you can do that, start with 1, whatever, man. Whatever you think you can do, start with that and then build on that. Start small and make it easy. That's how you build any habit. That's how you build self-discipline, is through doing things consistently. That's the key, is being consistent with whatever you're doing. Doing it once in a while, doing it here and there is not going to build self-discipline. Being consistent in doing whatever you're doing is going to build self-discipline. So remain consistent. Start right now. Start right now. And I always like to focus more on the habits that I need to ingrain in my life to become that person versus focusing on the outcomes. If your outcome is to lose 30 pounds, focusing on losing 30 pounds isn't necessarily going to get you to lose 30 pounds, but focusing on the habits and focusing on the person that you need to become to lose 30 pounds is what's going to ultimately get you there. So focus on the habits, not the outcomes. Focus on what you need to do to get there versus the actual outcome. Focus on the journey, not the destination. And the main thing is to just start. Just start. No matter where you're at, just fucking start. That's the most important thing, is just start. And if you do start and you find yourself failing a few times, it's very important for you to forgive yourself. Don't beat yourself up because you missed a day of working out. Forgive yourself and then get back to it. Get back to doing what you need to do. Get back to those habits that you know you need to ingrain in your life and remain consistent. So that's pretty much it, man. I hope this has helped you in any way, shape, or form. And if you know anybody that's struggling with building self-discipline, then share this with them. Let them know that you're thinking about them and that you want to see them succeed, just like I want to see you succeed. And with that being said, I will see you on the next one.